This is where forgotten change becomes a collector's dream. Discover how a simple 1 peso, a small 1 dime, and a humble wheat penny could unlock a fortune from your pocket. Join us as we reveal the hidden history, value, and secrets of the rarest coins you never knew were treasure. This is not just an old penny. This is a window into American history. The 1953 wheat penny might look like just another coin in your drawer. But what if I told you that this tiny piece of copper could be worth thousands, and that it holds secrets about the post-war economy, minting technology, political transitions, and a nation's trust in its currency? Join us as we uncover the full story of the 1953 wheat penny, its hidden value, and the reason collectors are racing to get their hands on it. The year is 1953. America is in the early stages of the Cold War. Dwight D. Eisenhower has just become the 34th President of the United States, replacing Harry S. Truman. The nation is evolving, industries are booming, soldiers are returning home, the economy is stabilizing after the tremors of the Second World War and the Korean conflict. The United States Mint continues its vital role in producing coinage to support a growing economy. And among the coins minted in this pivotal year stands a small copper coin that carries more history than its size suggests, the 1953 Lincoln wheat penny. This coin marks an era, a bridge between the pre-war and post-war generation, a symbol of everyday commerce and silent witness to the lives of millions. The design remains familiar to all Americans. Abraham Lincoln faces right, his profile etched in dignity and memory, while the reverse carries the classic wheat stalks, a motif used since 1909, symbolizing growth, prosperity, and the fruits of a strong working nation. The wheat penny by 1953 had already become a staple in American pockets. Introduced in 1909 on the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, breaking the long tradition of using allegorical female figures. This shift was significant, and by 1953, the design by Victor David Brenner remained a deeply respected national symbol. Now let us journey through the minting process and uncover the varieties of the 1953 penny. Across the three main mints of that time, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, each mint played a unique role in coin production, and their output had subtle yet crucial differences. The Philadelphia Mint struck the most with no mint mark it issued, over 256 million wheat pennies. These coins are often considered the base standard of the year, but not all were created equal. Minor variations in die wear, striking pressure, planche quality, and storage conditions have resulted in many collectible variants. Then we come to the Denver Mint, known for its D mint mark. It produced over 700 million wheat pennies in 1953. This was the highest production among the three mints. And while many of these coins remain common in circulated condition, collectors seek out uncirculated Denver coins with sharp details and original red luster, which can command impressive prices at auctions. And finally, the San Francisco Mint, marked with an S, produced around 181 million wheat pennies. 1953 S coins are particularly noted for their strong strike quality and their attractive toning when well preserved. Some examples from San Francisco stand among the finest Lincoln cents from the early 50s. Yet, it is not just the mint marks that matter. Error coins and varieties play a massive role in determining rarity and value in the world of numismatics. The 1953 wheat penny has several known varieties that have captured collector interest over the years, including double die obverse repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, and clipped planches. These errors are not just production mistakes, they are hidden treasures, tiny anomalies that transform a 1-cent coin into a rare artifact, worth hundreds or even thousands. The double die verse, for example, can create a dramatic doubling effect on the date or the word liberty. And these coins are often heavily sought after by specialists in Lincoln cent varieties. Repunched mint marks, or RPMs, are another favorite, especially from the Denver and San Francisco mints. These result from the mint mark being punched more than once in slightly different positions. And under magnification, this creates a layered effect that is both distinct and beautiful. Off-center errors and clipped planches, while less common, can also significantly raise the value of a 1953 penny, especially if the error is dramatic and the coin remains in high grade. Speaking of condition, the importance of grading cannot be overstated in the realm of coin collecting. The value of a 1953 wheat penny hinges not just on its mint or variety, but on its state of preservation. Coins are graded on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70, with higher grades exponentially increasing in value. A 1953 penny in circulated condition might be worth a few cents to a couple of dollars, but an uncirculated example, especially one with a rich red color graded MS65 or higher by PCGS or NGC, can sell for hundreds, and in rare instances even more. One particularly high-grade 1953 D penny sold for over $4,000 due to its flawless surface-sharp strike and fiery red luster. Beyond grading and errors, the historical context adds tremendous depth to the story of this coin. 1953 was a transitional year for America. The war in Korea ended in July. The Cold War intensified. The civil rights movement was beginning to gain national traction, and in the background, the mint continued churning out coins to fuel the American economy. Every 1953 wheat penny carries the essence of that moment in time. The coin passed through the hands of storekeepers, teachers, children, soldiers, immigrants, and politicians. A tiny vessel of value and trust now. Decades later, collectors seek to reclaim that history. Holding a 1953 wheat penny is like touching a small piece of the past preserved in copper. Unlock the hidden secrets and shocking value behind your old quarters. And the 1981 Roosevelt dime. Discover how these coins could change your fortune overnight. Journey deep into the story of America's old quarters dollar coins, and the 1981 one dime, a tale so rich with history that it stretches back generations, holding secrets that could be sitting unnoticed in your pocket right now. When you look at a simple dime or quarter, you might think it is just loose change. But within that small piece of metal lies a world of economic shifts, national events, and hidden treasures that few truly understand. Our story starts with the very foundation of the American Mint, a system built to unify currency across the states back in the late 1700s, when the Coinage Act of 1792 laid the groundwork for our first official mint in Philadelphia. The quarters and dimes we know today evolved from those first silver coins. The early quarters, known as the draped bust and capped bust designs, were handcrafted by master engravers, each strike telling its own story. These coins traveled with pioneers across the expanding frontier. They witnessed the birth of railroads, survived civil wars, and saw the rise of industry. The quarter became a symbol of everyday transactions. Yet some quarters and dimes were struck under unique circumstances that make them rare. Today, take for instance the Standing Liberty quarters minted from 1916 to 1930. They carry tales of a changing nation, and their scarcity in high grades makes them highly sought after. Collectors know that coins like the 1932 D&S Washington quarters can bring thousands today, depending on condition moving forward. Through the decades, we see how the composition of coins changed. In response to economic challenges, the Coinage Act of 1965 removed silver from dimes and quarters, marking an end of an era. The 1981 Roosevelt dime sits right in the middle of this new age of clad coinage. But do not be fooled into thinking these modern dimes hold no value. The truth is certain. Minting errors, off-center strikes, double dies, and full band details on the torch can make a 1981 dime worth far more than face value. In fact, some graded examples have sold for hundreds or even thousands at auction. The same goes for old quarters from the 60s and 70s, especially those with transitional errors or special mint sets. Now think about the stories behind these coins. Each one passed through countless hands, paying for gasoline, groceries, movies, coffee. Each one carrying tiny marks that are clues for collectors. The mint marks like D for Denver, P for Philadelphia, or S for San Francisco tell us where they were struck, and the tiny details in their design can reveal if they are a rare variation or common issue. The 1981 Roosevelt dime, for example, had business strikes and proof strikes. Some proofs came from the San Francisco Mint with deep cameo contrast and mirror-like fields. These proof coins, if well preserved and graded. By top companies like PCGS or NGC can achieve impressive premiums, the same principle applies to old quarters. The state quarter program in the 1990s reignited public interest. But before that, the classic Washington quarters from the 1930s through the silver era and into clad compositions hold countless hidden gems. Collectors often look for die varieties like the 1934 doubled die obverse or the 1950 D/S mintmark errors. Imagine pulling one of those from a roll of old change that has been tucked away for decades. Many people do not realize how to identify these varieties. They overlook subtle doubling in letters, a slight misalignment, or a missing mint mark. Yet these minute details can change a coin's value dramatically. Think about the families who have held on to jars of quarters and dimes for generations, often unaware that within that jar may lie a coin that could pay for a car, or even a house. The market for rare coins remains strong, driven by collectors, investors, and historians who understand that these small metal discs are more than currency. They are physical links to our shared past. Take a moment to picture the journey of a single 1981 dime minted in Philadelphia. It leaves the mint shiny and perfect. Then it goes into circulation, perhaps first used to buy a newspaper. Then it moves on, paying for a bus fare. Then it sits in a drawer forgotten until it finds its way to a coin roll hunter. Decades later, who spots the clear full bands detail that adds to its value? This is why coin hunting is so captivating. Every coin is a time capsule, a piece of art and history combined for those new to the hobby. Understanding grading is key. Coins are graded on a scale from poor to perfect mint state 70, and small differences can mean huge jumps in value. A 1981 dime in MS65 with full bands can bring a surprising return compared to a worn circulated example. Similarly, a quarter with deep proof-like fields or rare error can change your collection forever. There are also stories of counterfeit coins and how the mint developed security measures over the years to protect the integrity of our coinage, from micro-reading on the edge to specific design features that make counterfeiting difficult. The quarter and dime both evolved to remain trustworthy as the decades rolled on. Collectors learned to spot real from fake using magnification, and modern technology. Coin shows, conventions, and auctions bring together enthusiasts from around the world. Many famous collections like the Eliasberg or Norweb collections have auctioned coins for record sums. These legendary coins often include pristine quarters and rare dimes, each with a provenance that tells us who owned them, when they changed hands, and what makes them so special. You might be wondering how to start if you have a jar of coins or an old box of change. The first step is to sort them by denomination, then by year and mint mark. Look for anything out of the ordinary. If you find a 1981 Roosevelt dime, check. The torch bands, check for doubling, check. The mint mark, research recent auction prices on trusted sites like Heritage or Stack's Bowers. Never clean your coins, because doing so destroys the original surface and can slash the value in half. Instead, handle them carefully, store them in protective flips or holders. And if you think you have something special, consider sending it for professional grading. The story of the quarter and dime is not just about metal. It is about people too. Countless lives have been touched by these coins, from mint workers to collectors to everyday Americans who unknowingly pass on a little piece of history with every transaction. Whether you're looking at an early silver quarter, a wartime dime, or a modern clad piece, there is always a story waiting to be uncovered. That is the thrill of numismatics, and why channels like this one exist, to keep you informed, inspired, and always on the lookout for the next big discovery. So next time you check your pocket change, remember, you might be holding a rare piece of American history that links you to the past and could hold a fortune for your future. Keep hunting, keep learning, and keep the stories alive, because every old quarter and every 1981 dime has a story to tell, and that story might just change your life forever. This one coin may be sitting in your pocket right now, worth just 1 peso. But what if I told you its true story stretches from a nation's struggle to economic shifts, global influences, hidden mint secrets, collector frenzy, and the untold value behind this simple 1990 coin that could change everything you think you know about Philippine currency history? rare coin collecting and lost treasures from the past. The story of the 1990 One Piso coin begins long before it was ever minted. To understand its true historical value, we must first travel back through time to the early 1980s, when the Philippines faced a series of economic, political, and monetary shifts that would forever change its coinage history. The One Piso coin, which had traditionally been a symbol of everyday economic life, was becoming increasingly vulnerable to inflation, counterfeit threats, and changes in public trust towards paper currency. In the late 1980s, after the 1986 People Power Revolution, the Philippines was in a critical stage of rebuilding its institutions and solidifying its economy under the new leadership of President Corazon Aquino. New monetary reforms were introduced, and with them came changes to the design, material, and symbolism behind the coins. In circulation, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas sought to create coins that were not only functional, but also reflective of national pride and identity. Enter the Flora and Fauna series, a revolutionary coinage collection that would feature native plants, animals, and heroes of the Philippines, replacing older designs that many believed were outdated or disconnected from Filipino heritage. The 1990 One Piso coin was part of this movement, featuring the bust of Jose Rizal, the national hero, on the obverse side. With the denomination and mint year clearly inscribed, a man whose story symbolizes sacrifice, intelligence, and revolution, Jose Rizal had appeared on coins before. But the 1990 version sought to recast him in a modern light, with sharper lines, a more defined facial profile, and a layout designed to discourage counterfeiting. The reverse of the 1990 One Piso coin featured the denomination Republika ng Pilipinas and the iconic coconut palm tree, which symbolizes the resilience and sustainability of the Filipino people. This design choice was not merely artistic, it reflected economic goals to emphasize agricultural growth and national unity during times of financial recovery. The coin was struck in nickel-plated steel, a decision driven by the rising cost of precious metals and the need for durable, affordable alternatives. This composition made the coin resistant to corrosion and better suited for circulation in a tropical environment. Earlier coins minted in aluminum and bronze alloys had often degraded over time and were more susceptible to damage, especially in humid climates. Production of the 1990 One Piso coin was managed under strict supervision by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, and records from the mint show a robust circulation intended to phase out older coins and reduce reliance on paper money. The coin measured 25 millimeters in diameter and weighed 5.9 grams, and though it was common in markets, transport fares, and daily transactions, very few people paid attention to the details hidden in its design. Collectors, however, noticed the 1990 issue's unique features, such as slight variations in minting sharpness, edge details, and even subtle engraving differences due to shifts in mint die usage during production cycles. These small changes now make certain batches more valuable in the collector's market, especially uncirculated versions, or those with proof-like surfaces. Over the years, as inflation progressed, and newer coin series were introduced, including the BSP series, and eventually the new generation currency coin series, the 1990 One Piso, slowly faded from daily use, yet its value among collectors grew due to its historical importance, transitional position in Philippine currency design, and connection to a post-revolution era. In the current coin market, prices for the 1991 Piso coin vary widely. Circulated examples usually hold face value or slightly above, but uncirculated coins, proof strikes or mint error versions, can fetch between 50 pesos to as much as several hundred pesos in private auctions and online sales platforms. Rare errors such as off-center strikes, double dies, or clipped planchets are especially sought after by coin experts and investors. But beyond monetary value, this coin represents a turning point. It was born in a time of national rebuilding, designed to reflect the beauty of Filipino culture and meant to hold both economic and patriotic value. Its presence in coin albums is not just for investment, but to honor a critical moment in modern Philippine history, when coinage became a voice for the people. Today, younger generations may see the 1990 One Piso as just another old coin. Yet for collectors, historians, and numismatists, it holds deep meaning. Understanding this coin is about more than knowing its weight or diameter. It is about recognizing the effort put into restoring national confidence through everyday items like money. The 1990 One Piso also inspired educational efforts in schools across the Philippines. It became a tool for teaching economic awareness, historical identity, and respect for national heroes. Lessons about Jose Rizal, the symbolism of the coconut tree, and the evolution of the Philippine monetary system were often illustrated using this very coin. In recent years, interest in vintage coins has surged. Collectors across Asia, Europe, and North America have begun to take note of unique coins from Southeast Asia, and the 1990 One Piso is one of the most researched coins online. Search trends show a spike in interest around coins from the 80s and 90s due to their transitional design styles and relative affordability compared to older pre-independence issues. Its story continues as new coin laws, regulations, and digital technologies reshape the way we collect value and exchange currency. The 1991 Piso reminds us that every coin has a voice, a past, a journey, and a potential legacy that reaches far beyond its metal composition. When we look closely at the 1990 One Piso coin, we see not just a monetary tool, but a capsule of history frozen in nickel and steel, waiting to be rediscovered, passed down and honored by those who recognize its true importance in the story of a nation that rose from revolution into a hopeful new dawn.